Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Tracy Young. Our guest is Assemblyman Bob Huff, who represents the 60th District. He also serves at the Republican Caucus chair. And he joins us to talk about the numerous proposals to amend the way legislative districts are drawn and the number of years a legislator can serve. Assemblyman, one thing that always kind of catches me is that we have legislators, nothing against you, but that we allow you to draw your own districts. How did we get to this situation?
Well, keep in mind you allow the majority party to draw their own districts. We tend to be a silent voice being a member of the Republican Party. But that's the rule of law. The majority makes decisions that impacts everybody, and when you have legislators used to having legislation passed by that formula, why should it be any different when they're drawing their own lines? The problem usually is when you draw unbiased lines, some of the existing legislators will no longer have a district, or there'll be two, maybe even three people fighting against each other that are in there. So you try to minimize conflicts. So it probably starts off with a noble goal, but ultimately you end up with legislators choosing their constituency rather than the voters or constituency choosing their legislators.
And so what kind of problems arise out of this?
Well, the problems are you have some very gerrymandered districts like mine. You know, I have parts of 3 counties. You know, I'm just clipping foothill communities. It's a great district. I love it. But if I was pulled up more into LA County like it used to be, it would be a much more competitive district. I have 49% Republican registration. That would probably drop down to low to mid 30s. That would be a competitive seat. Those are the types of things you like to see.
Would it force legislators to actually speak to everybody? You know, right now one of the things I see is, you know, if you only have to win that primary, all you have to do is keep that base or majority happy. I mean, what incentive is there for you to raise money and even go talk to the other side?
We've only got 3, maybe 4 seats that could even be considered competitive in the state out of 80 seats. You know,
well, there are a number of proposals up there. The governor has a proposal. Valines, the Republican leader in the Assembly, has a proposal. Speaker Nunez in the Assembly also has a proposal. And they're a little different. They're all sort of based on having some kind of a commission. I think the governor's is an 11-member. Valines is a citizen commission, whereas Nunez is a Hoover commission. How do we figure out how we're going to end up on this kind of proposal?
I don't know. For, you know, every legislator probably has their own idea. The main thing is you got to settle on the criteria. You know, make sure that they're competitive districts. Nesting is a good thing. You know, where two seats fit into 1 Senate seat, 2 Assembly seats into 1 Senate seat, and to make sure there's no legislative involvement. And so when you see these different formulas of how you're going to make up this commission that chooses it, that's really what we're looking at is, are the legislators involved in this, or are they truly independent? Because if the legislators are involved in it, like they're appointed by the majority party, it's going to be gamed. And if it's gamed, it's just a fake fix. You know, we think that we're getting redistricting reform when it's still the same old pig, and we just put lipstick on it and repackaged it.
Because it's been brought into this. One of the things that the Democratic side has said, hey, look, if you guys want to make this change, we really want to change to term limits. Right now, the Assembly, you guys serve what? 3 2-year terms. The Senate serves 2 4-year terms. They don't, rather than looking at the number of terms, they're looking at an overall years. Is that correct?
Correct. And they would limit the number of overall years from 14 down to 12, but you could serve those 12 in either house.
Right. So it could be either house or it could just be 1 house.
Correct.
So we're looking at the number of years versus where you serve them.
Right.
What about tying these two together? I thought we had a law that you can't tie those together, but I hear both sides talking about they must go together.
I think it's more of a negotiating thing, because if you had term limit fixed without having redistricting, you would just lock into place for 12 years what could be uncompetitive districts that keeps the kind of stalemates we see in Sacramento now. You have to have competition in the elections to have really a legislature that reflects the state as a whole.
And again, this would, I mean, the California voters passed this in 1990. It was Proposition 40, I think it was. So again, this has to go back to the voters. Any temperature or mood in your district?
You know, I've got a great district. I haven't done any polling to know, but I can just tell you the guy on the street thinks the districts ought to be redrawn, and they think that we should probably not change the term limits to the legislators.
Great. Thanks for your time, sir. For Local Edition, I'm Tracy Young. Now back to CNN Headline News.